in this lecture we will see what is the second law of thermodynamics. Okay, in the previous lecture we have what are the limitation of the first law of thermodynamics. Now all those limitations we supposed to overcome or resolve in case of the second law of thermodynamics. Now the second law of thermodynamics basically has a two statements. One is a Kelvin Planck statement and second is the Clausius statement. So first of all, we will see, and also I want to mention here, the one statement are talking about work developing devices, and second statement talking about work consuming devices. Okay, their purpose are different. Okay, so the first statement we are supposed to see in this lecture, that is nothing but the Kelvin Planck statement. So the Kelvin state that the statement of this law is, the first statement of this law is, it is impossible to construct an heat engine. It is impossible to construct an heat engine working in a cyclic process whose sole effect is to convert all the heat supplied to it into equivalent amount of work. What the statement says, it is impossible to construct such an engine, okay, who convert 100% heat what it absorb into 100% work output. Okay, so it is impossible to construct such an engine. So in the limitation of first law of thermodynamics, we have already seen there is one statement, okay, under the limitation, work is completely converted into heat or heat is completely converted into work. That was the statement I have told you. It is not possible. This is a limitation of our first law of thermodynamics. So that thing get covered in this first statement of the second law of thermodynamics. The statement says it is impossible to construct heat engine working in a cyclic process whose sole effect is to convert all the heat supplied to it into equivalent amount of work. Okay, so in the figure 1 we can see this is a system and qa amount of heat is absorbed by system, and suppose it have a magnitude of 10 kilojoule. A 10 kilojoule amount of heat get absorbed by system. Okay, and it is absorbing from high temperature reservoir. We will discuss what is a reservoir, but just for the sake of time, remember here there are two reservoir basically present. One is a high temperature reservoir which is called as a source, okay, and one is a low temperature reservoir which is called as a sink, and the T1 and T2 is the respective temperature of source and sink. Okay, so in as per the first law of thermodynamics, which was the limitation of that, what about we supposed to talk here. So as per the first law of thermodynamics, heat gain equal to work output. So all the heat converted into work. All the 10 kilojoule converted into 10 kilojoule of work. But as per this, it is impossible. Okay. So as per this statement, if 10 kilojoule of heat energy absorbed by system from source, okay, then out of that partly or some part of heat energy can only convert into work. So here we are supposed to giving W amount of work, that is 4 kilojoule of work out of 10 kilojoule we are supplying to surrounding. Okay, this is system, it giving work to surrounding, and 6 kilojoule of heat energy, okay, which is wasted or which not possible to convert into useful work get wasted. As I told you, everything is not possible. As we have seen in the previous lecture, the example of engine, heat get waste to the cooling system, heat get waste to the frictional losses overcome. Okay, we have seen that in engine example. So similarly, all heat energy not possible to convert into work output, so remaining amount of heat get wasted and it forwarded to the low temperature reservoir or sink. Okay, so this is the statement says the Kelvin Planck statement. The second law of thermodynamics, that is Kelvin Planck statement, says it is impossible to construct such an engine who working in a cyclic process and whose sole effect is to convert 100% heat energy into 100% oil. It is not possible. Okay, that said by the second law of thermodynamics. Yes, but as per the Joule's experiment, if you know about the Joule experiment, the Joule performed one experiment that also have discussed in one of our lecture. Uh, as per the Joule experiment, work can be converted into heat. I mean to say 100% work can be converted into 100% heat, but not possible 100% heat converted into 100% work. So 100% heat we can't convert into 100% work, but 100% work can be converted into 100% heat. Remember, okay? So due to that, due to this reason, it is impossible to construct such an engine whose have 100% thermal efficiency. It is not possible to construct such an engine, heat engine, whose have 100% thermal efficiency. Okay. So here, two things you supposed to come into picture. Two things here come into picture, that is high temperature reservoir is a new term, low temperature reservoir is another new term. Okay, and the thermal efficiency is again new for you. I feel it is not new, but some it is new for some students. Okay, so we will discuss what are those, what are the meaning of those new term. Okay, before that, just focus on this diagram. Okay, so here in the previous lecture, uh, I have told you another limitation of the first law of thermodynamics. It does not, it does not define direction of flow of energy. I told you whether heat flow from high temperature to low temperature or low temperature to high temperature, that it not not defined by the first law of thermodynamics. Okay, this is another limitation of the first law, which I told you in the previous lecture. So that also overcome here. So by noticing this diagram, you can see a temperature T1 is the high temperature reservoir, and low temperature reservoir, that is T2. So heat are flowing high to low, is it? So it also guiding you the path, or it also guide you what will be the direction of flow of heat energy, high temperature to low temperature, and from here you supposed to have a work output. So when heat from high temperature to low temperature is possible, for example, for example uh, suppose suppose temperature at very beginning of system, I will tell you, just a minute. Okay, just consider this is a temperature. Leave it, we will have a pencil. It is a small problem. Okay, leave it. uh, it's not working right now. Okay, so this is a T1. Okay, this is a temperature of T1 of high temperature reservoir, and temperature from high temperature reservoir, due to the high temperature reservoir and the system, the temperature difference in between the high temperature reservoir and the system boundary, this is a boundary of the system. Okay, so due to a temperature difference between high temperature reservoir and the system, okay, qa amount of heat entering to the system. Okay, so here that system temperature should be less than high temperature reservoir, so that's why qa amount of heat flowing into the direction is in. Okay, and if you talk about this low temperature reservoir, so low temperature reservoir temperature T2 should be less than system temperature, so that's why system leaving heat to the reservoir. Means low temperature reservoir should have less temperature as that of the system. So that's why it flow is out. So this is the direction indicating, which was the limitation of the first law, so that get overcome here. So here should be a temperature difference in between high temperature and the system and low temperature and the system. Then and only this flow is possible. If temperature of low temperature reservoir or sink matches with the system, then this outflow will not be there. And in that sense, you may say heat may directly transform to the work. It's not possible again. Okay, because there are other losses also there. If frictional is there, then frictional losses is there, viscous losses also there. So all those losses are not make possible to have a 100% heat transformation into 100% work. Okay, so this thing we have to remember the flow of direction. Heat flow direction is also defined by our second law. Okay, now we will see those new term. What is a heat reserve, high temperature reservoir or low temperature reservoir, or what, or thermal efficiency. Okay, so first of all, what is a heat engine? Basically, a heat engine is such a device who convert a heat energy into work output. Okay, it is such an engine who convert heat energy into work output. Okay, and if I talk about the classification of heat engine, then it may be of two category. One is the internal combustion engine, another is the external combustion heat engine. Okay, and as we are automobile engineers, we know we belongs to internal combustion heat engine. Okay, so in case of the thermal power plant, okay, we have external combustion engines. The simple example of external combustion heat engine is our cooker. Okay, our pressure cooker or any pan which we have put it on burner, because this combustion not taking inside the pan, it's outside the pan. So, or because of that, we can say it's an external combustion. In case of the engine, combustion are take place inside the system, so that's it's called internal combustion. So what is the role of those heat engine? Convert that heat engine which is released from the chemical, say airfare, okay, and convert it into useful work. Or more precisely, if you want to say, first of all, chemical energy from fuel get converted into heat energy, and that heat energy further converted into work output. So that is the role of heat engine. Okay, so heat engine does conversion of heat energy into work output. Now there are several type of heat engine. Yeah, as I told you, they mainly classify into internal and the external combustion, but they have some characteristics as below. They all are receive heat from high temperature source. Okay, maybe oil furnace, nuclear reactor. Okay, maybe combustion inside the system. Okay, they convert part of this heat to work. As I told you, only some part of it only converted into work output, remaining get wasted to the sink or low temperature reservoir. They reject the remaining waste heat to low temperature sink. Okay, they operate in a cycle. Operate in a cycle means one cycle is completed, again it reaches to initial state, again this next cycle is completed. Okay, as similar to our IC engine, one cycle, seconds, cycles are taking place, continuous work output is there. Okay, after that we see the what is the thermal energy reservoir. Okay, so, as per the definition, it defined as a large body of infinite heat capacity. Okay, it is defined as a large body of infinite heat capacity which capable of absorbing or rejecting an ultimate quantity of heat without suffering appreciable change in its thermodynamic coordinate. Thing need to be noticed here: infinite heat capacity and without suffering appreciable change in its thermodynamic coordinate. The example I want to say, quote here, for example, atmosphere. Okay, the temperature of atmosphere, for example, is 35 degrees Celsius. Okay, and if any, for example, in room the temperature is 35 degrees Celsius, and I just put a light, if I can have a lighted candle on my table, whether the temperature of this room surrounding it changes? No, it will remain 35. So no, the surrounding of this or atmosphere of this particular room without not suffering appreciable change. It won't change. Okay. And if at in case of the high temperature room, for example, the temperature of this room is 45 degree Celsius to 50 degrees Celsius, and I keep one ice cube on table, whether the temperature will pull down that whether that ice cube capable to pull down the temperature of room, that entire room, not possible. It won't fall 50 to 30, because capacity of this room is too high. So that is that it's saying it is the infinite heat capacity. It is just like taking a one bucket of water from ocean. Okay, it's just like that, it having a huge capacity. So even if I'm adding one bucket back one bucket of water in ocean capacity will not increases. Or if I take out one bucket water from ocean, then also the ocean capacity will not reduce. It doesn't matter, it not have appreciable change. Okay, so in that way only we have a high temperature reservoir and the low temperature reservoir. So basically low temperature reservoir is nothing but our surrounding, okay, which basically have a low temperature. And the high temperature reservoir may be a burner on which you're supposed to keep your system in order to supply heat. For example, if you take the example of boiling water, the first example in this subject, the boiling water, what we can say, the inside the pan there is a water is present and it is kept on the burner. So that burner is playing the role of high temperature reservoir. Okay, and inside water inside the pan is called as a system, and whatever the surrounding it have excluding burner is nothing but low temperature reservoir, because it taking the heat, that system taking the heat from the burner, okay, and leaving to the low temperature reservoir. But if we talk about in case of the pressure cooker, okay, then the pressure cooker is completely closed. And suppose this is a pressure cooker, it taking the heat from the burner, and at particular time a petcock, or we can say that the vessel which is put on the lid of that pressure cooker is supposed to be lift, that called as a pet wall, or the that walls lifted. Okay, that get responsible or indicating the some amount of work done, because it lifted against the gravity. Okay, and at the same time it leaves the heat to the atmosphere. Okay, so this is the thing. So here low temperature reservoir means a environment or surrounding. Okay, and high temperature reservoir is nothing but the heat source. It may be a combustion process, it may be any burner, it may be any furnace, it may be any nuclear reactor. Okay, that it is a high temperature reservoir from which heat gain is there, heat coming into the system. Okay, and low temperature reservoir is nothing but a surrounding. In the surrounding we supposed to leave our waste heat, like our engine, the example of this. Okay, here everything combustion is take place inside the cylinder, and we are leaving heat to the atmosphere. So this is a low temperature reservoir, the surrounding is low temperature reservoir. Okay, inside the combustion, what combustion processes take place, that is our high temperature reservoir source from which we supposed to take a heat. Okay, so this is the source. It should have a temperature T1, that is maximum temperature T1, and the temperature T2 is the minimum, that is sink, where we are wasting our all the waste heat energy we are putting at that sink area. Okay, so this is the T2. Now you may understand what is a high temperature reservoir and what is a low temperature reservoir. Now another thing, what is a thermal efficiency? The basically this definition is suitable for all heat engine. There is no other definition, no other general definition is present other than this. Okay, so thermal efficiency of any heat engine is nothing but a net work done divided by heat input. Okay, net work done divided by heat input. So what is the net work done? Net work done, the meaning of net work done is how much amount of work done is there. So if I talk about the work done here, okay, again the problem is same. It's not creating anything on board. Okay, let it be. So okay, so it means what is the net work done here? QA amount of heat get absorbed. So this is the heat input. QA is the heat added to the system, that is heat input. Now net work done, those things we have to determine. QA added, W work done is there, and QR rejected. So net work done is nothing but W is equal to Q added minus Q rejected. It will give you W, is it? Because out of this QA, QR rejected. Out of this QA, QR is rejected. So what left? W. So QA minus QR give you W. Q added minus Q rejected is nothing but our net work done. So QA minus QR divided by QA. This is your general equation for any thermal cycle, or we can say general equation for any heat engine. Okay, so if thermal efficiency is nothing but the QA minus QR divided by QA, or W net divided by QA in general. So it is very simple. How much amount of heat you have supplied, and out of that how much amount of work done is coming from the engine. Okay, so as I told you the one thing in very previous at very early of this lecture, 100% of thermal efficiency is not possible. So 100% thermal efficiency means what? W net should be equal to QA. W net, that is W, should be equal to QA divided by QA, then only 100% is possible. But what second law of thermodynamics or Kelvin Planck state? 100% heat cannot be converted into 100% work output, and it is only possible when W is equal to QA. But 100% heat cannot be converted into 100% work output, because there is a losses in terms of the friction, there is a losses in terms of finite temperature difference between system and surrounding, there is a losses in because of the imperfect insulation, there is a losses due to the AD current, and other miscellaneous losses are there. So due to that, 100% heat cannot be converted into 100% work output. So 100% thermal efficiency is not possible. So if you want to make thermal efficiency 100%, then W net should be equal to QA. Okay, which is not possible. But it is possible to achieve as near to 100% efficiency. Means we can't achieve 100%, but we can achieve 91, we can achieve 85, we can achieve 87, we can go near to 100%, but 100% is not possible. So in that direction only the invention are going on, or the all the R&D is going on. How can we go more closer to 100%? Okay, and another thing, the thermal efficiency of heat engine can be modified, the formula can be modified in that sense also. Efficiency is equal to T1 minus T2 divided by T1. So this is the absolute temperature in Kelvin. Okay, and this formula only valid whenever reversible cycle is there. Okay, whenever reversible cycle is there, then and then only this formula is valid, otherwise we have to use this formula. Okay, for reversible cycle only this thing is used as per the absolute temperature scale. So this is another thing, absolute temperature scale. It is not in your syllabus, but as per the absolute temperature scale, QA divided by QR is equal to T1 divided by T2, and it is only applicable for the reversible cycle and reversible cycle of heat engine and heat pump. Okay, so whenever reversible cycle is there for heat engine or heat pump, you may say efficiency can be T1 minus T2 divided by T1, and those are the temperature of higher temperature reservoir and the low temperature reservoir. I hope you have understood the first statement of the second law of thermodynamics, and those are the new term, that is heat engine, thermal reservoir, and the thermal efficiency. If you feel any difficulty, please do comment in our comment section. Thank you.